Hey world, it's 7:30 in the morning on the 27th, or the 12th of July, my apologies, 2014. I spent all day yesterday at the Healing Weekend in Highbridge on the Somerset coast. Saw 12, 13 individuals yesterday, and I've got loads more booked today. I love being in a situation where I'm doing lots of readings because I see so many different patterns. I get a real feel for what's going on in the world. And what is going on in the world? Well, it's full moon, and it's full moon in Capricorn. The full moon actually takes place at 12:25 in 5 hours from the moment I'm recording this. And the full moon takes place at 16.5 degrees of Capricorn and Cancer. On the surface, it's not that difficult a full moon, but if you look slightly underneath, you can see quite a few things. There are two planets that the sun and the full moon are aspecting. Firstly, both the sun and the moon are squaring the planet Uranus. Minor flashback from the Grand Cross of recent times. Uranus is a planet of change, and change can be stimulating and innovative and exciting and fun and adventurous, but change can also be dramatic, chaotic, unpredictable. And with the sun square Uranus and the moon square Uranus, it's more likely to have a degree of volatility about it than it is stimulus. So on the one hand, this full moon is a time of unpredictable challenge, change, with the potential for disruption and sudden changes. And with Uranus in Aries squaring the sun moon, it's going to be changes based around the rights of the individual. On the other hand, the sun is trine Saturn and the full moon is sextile Saturn in Scorpio. So, on the other hand, the opportunity with the sextile for a flow of energy from a trine, from Saturn to the sun and moon, and with the full moon in Capricorn, Saturn's sign, suggests an equally strong capacity for words like order, structure, form, stability, consistency, regularity. So, on the one hand, you've got the Capricorn moon that's doing nice things to a lot of people because it's bringing a lot of steadiness and solidity into hand. On the other hand, you've got the full moon square Uranus, which is bringing a great deal of volatility, irritation, frustration. So how do we balance these two off? How do we square them off? Well, actually we don't. Because over recent videos, I've talked a few times in recent weeks about the ongoing and upcoming in conjunction between Saturn and Uranus. Uranus is at 16.5 degrees of Aries, getting ready to stand still and go backwards. Saturn is at 16.5 degrees of Scorpio, standing still, getting ready to move forwards. They both stand still within 36 hours of each other in the next few days. And the sense of frustration between the Uranian desire for action and Saturn's capacity for putting the brakes on is creating like burning rubber. And there is a sense of frustration and impotence out there. The inconjunction itself, an angle of 150 degrees, is often described as an angle of adjustment, of compromise, and it's where every partner has to give way a little bit so that everyone else is at least content and no one's unhappy. No one's particularly happy with an inconjunction, but no one's unhappy either. It's an itch you can't scratch, it's a niggle. And thing is, with Saturn in conjunct Uranus, neither of these are going to give way. They're both heavy hitters. So there is going to be things like the unstoppable force against the immovable object. Uranus is going to force Saturn into relinquishing some of its control, and there will have to be some radical changes. But at the same time, Saturn is going to Uranus. No, you will not make radical changes without there also being a degree of structure and reorganization. So there's either going to be a lot of little changes in the next few days, which are going to be irritable and frustrating, or there's going to be one or two really big ones that are going to force sudden changes in structures in order to be able to accommodate these changes. And I'm more in favour of the latter. The angle between the two is an inconjunction. It's a difficult one. So I do expect this full moon to be the harbinger of one or two difficult decisions at various political levels about the compromises they're going to have to make in order to maintain and sustain the status quo. And this is only the start. This is the doorway opening into not so much chaos, but restructured chaos. And the new moon, 2 weeks time. That's what I'm looking for. That's the trigger that's either going to blow it all up or is going to give us the wonderful chance to begin again. Meantime, it's full moon in Capricorn. Wherever you are, go and look at the moon, have a little bit of a howl. On the one hand, if you're Uranian and Aquarian and revolutionary, get out there and scream. And if you're Saturnine and a bit more taciturn, then just go and look at the moon and mutter under your breath. But have a great full moon. I'm at the Healing Weekend. Catch you later. Bye.